is my carrier, and I'm just gonna go ahead and show you how I set it up for when I go to the vet with my rabbits. So the first thing that you could put on the bottom of your carrier, if you'd like, is a puppy pad. Puppy pads are used to absorb pee, mainly for when puppies are potty training, but you can use them for rabbits if you'd like. However, they are made out of a plastic material, which is why I would never really use them like inside of the rabbit cage or inside of a litter box or anything, just because if your rabbit chewed it, that wouldn't be safe. But when they're in a carrier, for the most part, they're scared enough that they're not going to be messing around with this. And also, I always cover this up so they don't really have access to it anyways. So you could place that on the bottom if you'd like. I don't always use a puppy pad, it just depends. For the most part, a towel or something works just fine, but sometimes there's still a little bit of pee on the bottom. Puppy pad will make sure that there is no pee, so just depends what you prefer. So the next thing to put on the bottom of the carrier is some sort of towel or fleece. So right here I just have a fleece, and then I also have a towel. For the most part, I prefer using towels because they're more absorbent. Like I said, my rabbits pee all the time inside their carriers. So this is, for the most part, what I opt to use, and I always bring an extra fleece or an extra towel because they are gonna pee on it, and once you get to your destination, it's best to change out your towels so that they aren't sitting on the pee the whole time. So that's just what it looks like with the towel inside, and then I'll just use like a fleece to cover up the top of the carrier so that they aren't seeing anything on top. Another thing I go ahead and add is hay. And you always want to have hay with your rabbit, as they always need hay access 24/7. There's been a couple of times that I haven't had hay in their carrier for, like, I don't know, I just remember sometimes, you know, I forgot to bring hay or something. It's really like, they aren't gonna die, but you know, it's very important to have it, so I always bring it with. Sometimes your rabbits aren't even gonna wanna touch it, whereas other times they'll eat in the car or they'll eat when you get there, so it's important to bring that with. And this is how I normally set up my kennel if I'm bringing all 2 or all 3 of my rabbits somewhere. They tend to be big enough that they aren't gonna slide around as long as there's like more rabbits in there to like buffer up against. So now I'm going to show you how I prepare my kennel if I only am bringing 1 rabbit, and I've done this before in emergency situations with Mocha. I've taken him to an ER clinic, which is an 8-hour round trip, so I don't want to bring like more rabbits than I have to because that's way too stressful, and Mocha does fairly decent on his own. So there has been some situations where I only bring 1 bunny, so I'm going to show you now how I prepare a kennel in that instance. So I don't always use a puppy pad on the bottom, but since I already have it there, I'm just gonna leave it. So if I was to bring Mocha somewhere, for the most part, this is how I prepare his kennel, because Mocha has a lot of issues. He has like some neurological issues which cause him to have head tilts and for him to be very uneasy and unsteady. So I like to have bumpers in the kennel because, for one, this kennel is way too big for just 1 bunny. He would just slide around. So another reason is because of his dizziness, I want him to have, you know, some support in there. So what I use is one of these beds. This is a SNUG-A-BUN bed. This is what I sell on my Etsy store. I always have a link down in the description below if you want to order one of these. I just use one of these on the bottom of my kennel. Now this won't work if your kennel is too small, but my kennel is big enough that this works. So this is why I probably wouldn't use a puppy pad in this situation, or I would put a towel down first because there is some puppy pad showing and I wouldn't want him to eat that. As you can see now, there is a nice little bed in there, so he would just sit right in the middle, and these bumpers, which is like the bed pillows, these stop him from, you know, sloshing around inside the kennel if something was to happen. So this is very important. So if you only have 1 rabbit, this is a very good idea on something to do. And then of course I would add my hay in here, either in the front side or the back side, for him to chew on if he would like. So for the fleece, honestly, I just kind of like throw it on top. If it's winter or if there's a lot of other animals in the vet clinic, I cover it up even more just so that they're more protected. And that's pretty much it. That's how I set up my kennels for when I am going for one bunny or for multiple bunnies. Don't forget to check out my social media where you guys can keep up with me there, and all those links are down in the description below. And that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on a new one. Bye!